Imagine driving through your city and seeing entire shopping centers turned into graveyards of glass and silence. In 2025, over 15,000 stores have shut their doors across America, wiping out more than $4.2 billion in local economies. Pharmacies, banks, grocery chains, gone. What was once the heartbeat of Main Street is now a cold echo of "for lease" signs and unpaid bills. Families are losing jobs, small towns are losing identity, and even megastates like California and New York are collapsing under retail bankruptcy. This isn't a recession anymore, it's a retail extinction, unfolding in real time. Number 10. Arizona. Arizona's once booming retail landscape is drying up faster than its desert lakes. In 2025 alone, over 350 major store closures have swept through the state, leaving behind ghostly shopping strips from Phoenix to Tucson. Once vibrant malls like Metro Center and Superstition Springs now operate at less than 60% capacity, their vacancy rates doubling since 2022. Big Lots, one of the biggest discount retailers for middle-income families, announced the closure of 28 Arizona locations, citing falling sales of home goods and seasonal items, down 21% year-over-year. 7-Eleven shut more than 40 gas station stores as profits shrank amid rising operating costs and fuel theft, while Kirkland's Home exited entirely from the state after revenue plunged below $600 per square foot, far from its 2018 average of $920. Phoenix's retail sector, once fueled by population growth, is now buckling under inflation and household debt. The average Arizona household carries $10,840 in credit card debt, a 14% increase from 2023, while wages barely rose 3%. Combine that with double-digit rent hikes and median home prices crossing $445,000, and consumers simply stopped shopping. Foot traffic across the state's malls fell 19% year-over-year, according to Placer.ai data. Even the mighty Amazon Fresh experiment failed here. Its Chandler and Scottsdale stores closed in early 2025, part of a nationwide downsizing that erased over $500 million in losses. Local chains like Fry's Electronics and Bookman's are disappearing too, unable to compete with e-commerce giants. The ripple effect is devastating. Retail employment across Arizona has dropped by 7.8%, cutting over 18,000 jobs. Empty storefronts now account for 1 in every 8 retail spaces statewide, while property tax revenues in commercial zones fell by $140 million since 2020. Arizona's sun-soaked growth story now hides a chilling retail truth. When middle-class wallets run dry, even the fastest-growing state can't escape the collapse. Behind every "for lease" sign in Phoenix lies a family that used to shop there, and now can barely afford the basics. Number 9. Washington. Washington's skies aren't the only thing gray in 2025. Its retail economy has collapsed under the weight of inflation, e-commerce, and corporate exits. Over 420 retail locations have shut down statewide this year alone, turning once bustling neighborhoods in Seattle, Tacoma, and Spokane into silent corridors of empty glass. Seattle, once a tech-fueled consumer paradise, now leads the state in retail vacancies with over 15% of storefronts empty, up from just 6% in 2020. Even retail icons like Nordstrom Rack and Amazon Fresh, both Washington-born brands, have cut back drastically. Amazon Fresh closed 6 stores across the Puget Sound region after losing an estimated $700 million in its national physical retail experiment. Nordstrom, struggling with declining in-store sales, down 12% year-over-year, shuttered its Bellevue Square anchor store, erasing over 250 jobs. Local small businesses fared even worse. Rising rents, averaging $42 per square foot in prime Seattle districts, and labor costs up 18% since 2021 have crushed independent retailers. The average monthly rent for a 1,200 square foot shop now exceeds $5,000, while monthly foot traffic has dropped by 22% compared to pre-pandemic levels. The pandemic shift to remote work drained office-dependent foot traffic. Downtown Seattle, once drawing 300,000 workers daily, now sees less than 40% of that number. As spending power fell, so did tax revenue. King County lost over $200 million in sales tax income since 2022. Meanwhile, consumer spending power has evaporated. The median Washington household spends 36% of its income on housing, leaving little room for shopping. Groceries and utilities combined rose 15% in 2025, outpacing wage growth nearly threefold. Behind every closure sign lies a bigger tragedy. A state where once cutting-edge retail innovation now meets economic exhaustion. Washington, the birthplace of global retail giants, is ironically watching its own storefronts vanish faster than the drizzle can wash away the "for lease" stickers. Number 8. Michigan. Michigan's economy has long struggled with manufacturing losses, but 2025 has brought a new kind of shutdown, the retail kind. This year alone, more than 700 stores have closed statewide, marking a 25% increase from 2023. Detroit, Flint, and Grand Rapids are ground zero for the collapse. Rite Aid's bankruptcy led to the closure of over 150 Michigan locations, wiping out more than 3,000 jobs. Jo-Ann Fabrics, a company with deep Midwest roots, shuttered 36 stores statewide after recording a $230 million loss. Sears' hometown finally disappeared, taking with it another 400 local positions. In total, Michigan has lost over $1.1 billion in retail revenue this year. Detroit's suburban shopping centers now face a vacancy rate above 17%, compared to the national average of 10%. Commercial rents dropped by 12%, yet still too high for struggling small businesses. The state's average household income of $64,000 hasn't kept up with costs. Groceries are up 14%, electricity 9%, and car insurance, the highest in the U.S., averages a stunning $3,141 per year. Retail foot traffic in downtown Detroit is down 28% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Meanwhile, property tax revenue from commercial zones dropped by $90 million, forcing several cities to cut public services. Michigan's retail workforce, once employing 480,000 people, now counts fewer than 430,000, a 10% decline in just 2 years. The irony is painful. Consumers want cheaper options, but closures mean fewer stores and less competition, driving prices even higher. In Flint and Saginaw, retail deserts are expanding. Residents now travel over 20 miles to reach basic home goods or clothing outlets. The once proud industrial belt has become a retail graveyard. Michigan's story isn't just about lost stores. It's about shrinking communities, fading paychecks, and a middle class watching its last affordable conveniences vanish aisle by aisle. Number 7. Texas. Texas, known for its booming population and oil-rich economy, isn't immune to the retail apocalypse. In 2025, more than 1,200 store closures have swept through the state, the largest number in the South. Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio are seeing record-high mall vacancies, now averaging 14.7%, nearly double the 2019 rate. 7-Eleven, headquartered in Irving, Texas, shocked locals by closing over 250 convenience stores, citing declining profits as fuel prices soared past $3.90 per gallon, and operational theft jumped 19%. Big Lots shut 38 stores, while PNC Bank exited Texas entirely, shutting 78 branches, a move that erased more than 1,000 jobs. Even major malls like the Galleria in Houston and North Park Center in Dallas are quietly suffering. Rents have dipped 12% year over year, yet smaller tenants continue to default. Texas retail sales fell 5.3% in 2025, translating to a loss of roughly $6.4 billion in economic activity. Rising consumer debt tells the story. The average Texas household now carries $11,900 in credit card debt, up from $9,800 in 2022. Median rent has surged past $1,630, while grocery costs jumped 13%, squeezing spending power dry. Retail employment dropped 6.5%, eliminating nearly 50,000 jobs statewide. Even discount chains can't survive. Dollar Tree closed 57 stores, citing rent hikes and theft losses, topping $15 million statewide. Once busy strip malls in Fort Worth and Corpus Christi now sit half empty, and local governments have lost $280 million in retail tax revenue. Texas was once marketed as the land of growth, but 2025 proves that no state can outgrow consumer exhaustion. When even the state with 30 million residents can't keep stores open, the message is clear. America's retail engine is running on fumes, and Texas just hit empty. Number 6. Florida. Florida's sunshine can't mask its economic storm. In 2025, the state recorded over 900 retail closures, with malls from Orlando to Miami suffering their worst downturn in decades. Tourist hotspots that once thrived on shopping sprees are now lined with darkened storefronts and liquidation banners. Big players have taken a beating. Walmart Express pulled out of 37 small city markets, while Kroger's delivery hubs shut down across the Tampa region after losing $120 million in 2 years. Even Walgreens cut 68 stores, citing theft losses exceeding $30 million statewide. In total, Florida's retail sector shed nearly 40,000 jobs, a 7.2% employment drop year over year. The numbers behind the decline are brutal. The average Floridian household earns $67,000 annually, yet faces housing and utility costs up 22% since 2022. Grocery prices rose 14% this year alone, and rent in Miami averages $2,700 per month, leaving residents with little disposable income. Consumer spending dropped 8.6% statewide, slashing $4.1 billion from Florida's retail revenue. Tourism couldn't save the state this time. Visitors are down 9% as global airfare spikes and hurricane insurance costs cripple coastal hotels. Shopping-dependent zones like Orlando's International Drive and Miami's Dolphin Mall are reporting 20 to 25% foot traffic declines. Even outlet malls, once recession-proof, now operate at 65% capacity. Local entrepreneurs are also disappearing. Rising rents, averaging $48 per square foot in metro areas, and insurance premiums up 40% in 2025 have made small stores unsustainable. Florida's commercial vacancy rate is now 13.2%, the highest since the 2008 crash. Beneath the palm trees lies an economy addicted to tourism that no longer spends like it used to. Retailers came for the sunshine and crowds, but in 2025, they're leaving with losses and lawsuits. Florida's paradise image hides an unsettling truth. When locals can't afford to buy and visitors stop splurging, the Sunshine State becomes a showroom for America's retail decay. Number 5. New Jersey. New Jersey once crowned itself the mall capital of America. In 2025, that title feels more like a curse. The Garden State has lost more than 620 retail stores this year, including giants like Walgreens, Macy's, and Stop & Shop. The retail employment rate has plunged 8%, erasing 22,000 jobs. The downfall is steepest in northern New Jersey, where shopping plazas in Paramus, Newark, and Jersey City now sit half empty. Macy's closed its iconic Paramus Park location after sales fell 26%, and Stop & Shop shuttered 23 stores amid $85 million in losses. Even TD Bank, a regional heavyweight, has closed 17 branches, citing a shift to digital services. Rising operational costs hit hard. Commercial rent now averages $52 per square foot, while energy bills for large stores have increased 19% since 2023. Theft-related losses across New Jersey retailers topped $170 million, according to state data. Combined with consumer fatigue, stores simply couldn't survive. The median household income sits at $97,000, but affordability has collapsed. Property taxes average $9,500 per year, the highest in the nation, while groceries and gas are up 15%. The average New Jersey shopper is cutting back, with discretionary spending down 10% year over year. Even the once invincible American Dream Mall in East Rutherford is drowning in debt, missing $330 million in payments and sitting at 74% occupancy. Local strip malls are faring worse, with vacancy rates nearing 16% statewide, double the pre-pandemic level. The tragedy of New Jersey's retail collapse is that it's not about demand alone. It's about exhaustion. Consumers are squeezed, landlords are desperate, and even megamalls can't fill the void. The state that once defined suburban shopping now symbolizes its demise, a landscape of flickering closing sale signs where the American dream has been quietly repossessed. Number 4. Massachusetts. Massachusetts, long known for its education and innovation, is now watching its retail backbone vanish. Over 180 store closures have hit the state in 2025, wiping out over 9,000 jobs and leaving behind deserted main streets from Boston to Worcester. Joann Fabrics, with 30-plus locations statewide, has completely exited Massachusetts, citing sales declines of 24% and supply costs up 18%. TD Bank closed 20 branches, while Walgreens and CVS together eliminated 55 locations across the Boston metro area. In total, retail floor space occupancy has fallen to 82%, the lowest since 2009. Operating costs are brutal. Massachusetts has the 4th highest electricity rates in the U.S., averaging 28 cents per kilowatt hour, and commercial rents in Greater Boston now exceed $55 per square foot. Property taxes rose 12% this year alone, pushing many small businesses into default. The median household income of $93,500 sounds solid, until you factor in that average rent for a one-bedroom in Boston tops $3,100. With housing and student loan burdens climbing, consumer discretionary spending has fallen 9% year over year. Retail sales statewide dropped by $2.8 billion in 2025. Even legacy shopping areas like Newbury Street and Natick Mall are feeling the pain. Natick's retail vacancy hit 22%, while Newbury's boutique turnover rate doubled within 12 months. Once crowded suburban plazas now feature for-lease banners where mom-and-pop stores stood for generations. The Massachusetts collapse isn't about lack of demand. It's about costs crushing both sides of the counter. Shoppers can't afford to buy, and owners can't afford to sell. For a state that prides itself on progress and prosperity, 2025's retail landscape looks like a post-recession replay. Only this time, innovation can't save the stores that built its main streets. Number 3. Illinois. Illinois is facing a retail meltdown that rivals its post-industrial collapse. In 2025, more than 1,050 stores have shuttered statewide, one of the worst retail losses in the Midwest. From Chicago's struggling Magnificent Mile to Peoria's half-empty malls, the state's shopping economy is unraveling fast. Big Lots, once a discount favorite, has closed 42 Illinois stores, blaming sales declines of 19% and lease renewals that jumped 15%. Bed Bath & Beyond disappeared completely after liquidation, taking another 1,200 retail jobs with it. PNC Bank followed suit, shuttering 60 branches statewide, especially in lower-income areas. Chicago's Water Tower Place, once an icon of urban retail, now sits at 40% vacancy, while suburban malls in Joliet, Rockford, and Springfield hover around 25 to 30% empty. Statewide retail employment has fallen 9.1% since 2023, costing over 46,000 jobs. The numbers behind the pain are staggering. Illinois' commercial property taxes are the second highest in the nation, averaging $10,500 per year per retail unit. Electricity and heating costs surged 18% in 2025, while wages rose barely 2%. The median household income sits around $75,000, but inflation has erased all spending power. Even groceries now stretch family budgets to the brink. The average Illinois household spends $8,400 per year on food, up 21% from just 2 years ago. Retail foot traffic across Chicago's downtown core has fallen 30% from pre-pandemic levels, leaving small stores with no lifeline. Illinois' once vibrant retail corridors are now urban ruins, blinking neon lights over empty windows, billboards promoting space available, and communities stripped of local commerce. For many residents, the collapse isn't just about stores closing, it's about losing the last visible symbol of middle-class normalcy. Number 2. New York. New York, once the retail capital of the world, is experiencing an exodus of shocking proportions. In 2025 alone, over 1,500 retail stores have shut down statewide, nearly 400 of them in New York City. From the Bronx to Manhattan, once bustling streets now echo with silence and "for lease" signs. The retail titans are retreating. CVS closed 60 stores, Party City filed for bankruptcy and exited 22 New York locations, and TJ Maxx downsized by 18% in the metro area. Even luxury brands are bleeding. Saks off. Fifth left its flagship downtown site after rent soared past $1,200 per square foot, despite sales falling 25%. Manhattan's retail vacancy rate has climbed to 17.8%, up from 10% in 2021, while Brooklyn's once thriving Fulton Mall sits at 65% occupancy. Across the state, commercial real estate vacancies have surged 40% since 2020. The economic math is grim. The median household income is $80,300, but average rent in New York City has hit a record $4,200 per month, and groceries cost 22% above the national average. With consumer confidence at its lowest in a decade, spending on non-essentials has dropped 12.4% this year. Retail jobs have vanished. Over 53,000 positions lost in 12 months. The city's iconic Fifth Avenue corridor, once the most expensive shopping street on Earth, has lost nearly $1.1 billion in annual revenue compared to its 2019 peak. Meanwhile, small businesses can't compete. Insurance premiums are up 35%, and energy costs have jumped 21%. Independent stores that once defined New York's neighborhood character are closing at a rate of 3 per day. The Empire State's retail scene, once a global benchmark, now looks like a warning. For New Yorkers, the empty storefronts are more than economic scars. They're the physical evidence of a dream city pricing out its own heartbeat. Number 1. California. California, the world's fifth largest economy, is now the ground zero of America's retail implosion. In 2025, over 2,300 store closures have rocked the state, more than any other in the nation. From Los Angeles strip malls to San Francisco's Union Square, retail life has been hollowed out. Walgreens alone closed 178 stores, citing rampant theft and declining profitability. Macy's exited entire regions, including multiple Bay Area malls, eliminating 2,800 jobs. Rite Aid, once California's third-largest pharmacy chain, declared bankruptcy, closing 154 stores statewide. Even Walmart cut 22 locations, mostly in struggling suburban areas. The economic fallout is staggering. Retail employment in California has dropped 9.4% year-over-year, with over 110,000 workers displaced. Los Angeles' retail vacancy rate now exceeds 15%, while San Francisco's Union Square sits at a shocking 27% empty, a figure unthinkable just 5 years ago. Behind the numbers lies a brutal cost crisis. The median household income in California is $91,500, but average rent has climbed to $3,200 per month, while gas averages $5.40 per gallon. Groceries are up 18%, utilities 11%, and state taxes remain the highest in the nation. Consumers have simply stopped spending. Even major shopping centers are collapsing. The Westfield San Francisco Center, once valued at $1.2 billion, was surrendered to lenders after occupancy dropped below 50%. In Los Angeles, Baldwin Hill's Crenshaw Plaza faces foreclosure after retailers fled due to soaring security and maintenance costs. Local governments are losing billions. Over $800 million in annual retail tax revenue vanished between 2020 and 2025. Thousands of small businesses have closed, and once thriving districts like Hollywood Boulevard now resemble post-recession ghost towns. California's collapse isn't just about economics, it's about erosion of the middle class. The state that built America's consumer culture is now watching it crumble, store by store, under the crushing weight of inequality, inflation, and exhaustion.